Every second, every second. Oh yeah. And I don't know if I've been fooled. Don't know if I've been wise. But it's something that I must believe. And it's there when I look in your eyes. Love is in the air. In the whisper.
I just want to start the formal proceedings by welcoming you here. It is so wonderful that we can gather here in the center of the city of Melbourne to stand together against hate, to stand together for love, to stand... and to stand together and say with one voice, never again is... never again is... and once more, never again is... Let me introduce to the stage Deborah Harding Morris, who is an Indigenous lady from Melbourne who is going to lead us in the Welcome to Country. Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You want to get up?
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am a Tongarong woman from Central Victoria. I'm a descendant of the Tongarong tribe that is part of the Kulin Nation. And I'm here today to, I want to introduce my two brothers that are standing with me. This gentleman over here is Kukaby. He's from far north, South Australia. He came specifically to stand with the Jewish people. All night, overnight by the bus. And this gentleman here is Anderson, George Anderson. Him and his son, they flew down from Darwin. He's from Beswick, Central Arnhem Land. And the three of us want to stand here today as Aboriginal people and declare that this land is owned by the Creator, and that the Creator is the God of Israel. And we stand here declaring that, and I want to say Wominjeka Bik, which is traditional language, Tongarong language for welcome to country, but I'm not doing a traditional welcome to country, but I'm telling you that there's a deep meaning to that word Wominjeka, and it means come, but come with a purpose. And I want to say that the Jewish people have come to this land and fulfilled that, because you have brought the blessing of the God of Israel to this land, the blessing of the Creator, and we thank you for that. And so I also want to say that many of you have come as to this land as a refuge, and as Aboriginal people, we understand that. And so, sorry, Mum was gone blank. And I want to say that you've come to this land and you've become part of us. And so as part of us, what anyone does to you, they do to us. And so we say it is not okay that this hatred is in this land. We say no, it is not welcome. It is not welcome in this land. And the men are holding this to show our history with Israel. Very strong history of the light horse when they took the land of Beersheba. Thank you.
The Honourable Peter Dutton, the Leader of the Opposition, is unable to make it here in person. He's an amazing supporter of the Jewish people and of the land of Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I can't be with you in person today, but I wanted to thank you very much for your bravery and your decency in standing shoulder to shoulder with Jewish Australians, with people of Jewish heritage and the Jewish community more generally. We know that wherever the Jewish people have walked in history, there has regrettably been anti-Semitism. It's no surprise that anti-Semitism exists. It's repugnant and abhorrent. And as much as we want it not to be the case that anti-Semitism exists, we need to deal with that reality. And we need to be very clear about our condemnation of it. What is truly shocking and appalling, as we know, is the magnitude and the intensity now of the anti-Semitism which has emerged in Australia since a seething mob chanted slogans of slaughter on the steps of the Sydney Opera House on 9 October. The Jewish spirit of strength, of solidarity and survival has seen the Jewish people overcome subjugation, persecution, dispossession, exile and massacre through the course of history. It's that same spirit which will see the Jewish people today, in Israel, in Australia, and indeed around the world, prevail over present ordeals. In the battle against anti-Semitism in Australia, I say to Australians of Jewish faith, you are not alone. The fight will not be yours alone. The coalition I lead will continue to call out and condemn anti-Semitism wherever and whenever we see it on our soil. We will continue to speak up with moral clarity and to act with moral courage to clear the fog of moral equivalence and moral ambiguity. We do this not only because anti-Semitism is a threat to one segment of our community. We do this because anti-Semitism is a threat to the Australian achievement, to our democratic way of life, and indeed to civilisation itself. After the horrors committed by the Nazis, humanity made a solemn commitment with a single refrain. The forces of civilisation said, never again. Full stop. It's our solemn duty to ensure that refrain does not become a never again, which ends in a question mark. It's our solemn duty to ensure that refrain never becomes an again. Never again is now.
Okay. Now, let me introduce to you a man who, for many of us, needs no introduction, the Deputy Leader of the Victorian Liberal Party, Shadow Minister for a whole bunch of things, the Honourable David Southwick. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much, Mark. Before we begin, can we please thank Mark Leach and the Never Again Is Now team for putting on this amazing event here today. Never again is. Never again is. Never again is. I wanted to just begin today to acknowledge that there are many that have lost lives through the horror of war. And no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, we value human life. And I would like to join with me in observing a minute's silence for those lives that have been lost. I'm Israel High. I'd like to also begin with acknowledging a number of people that are here today. I know that you'll hear speakers, but particularly we have the former Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Ted Baillieu. Ted, thank you for being with us here today. My state colleagues, Georgie Crozier and Renee Heath. We have James Patterson and Senator Sarah Henderson as well. But to all of you, and particularly, I wanted to reach out and give a big thank you to the Christians, to the non-Jews that have stood here side by side with the Jewish community to say, never again is now. I contrast today's event of love, of inclusiveness, of valuing human life, and I compare that to the hate we've seen each and every week since October 7. And it's time to say enough is enough. Can I say this is the greatest country in the world? We live in the greatest state here in Victoria. And it is because we value everybody, no matter who you are and no matter where you come from. But unfortunately, since the events of October 7, we have seen the Jewish community targeted again and again and again, and it's time to say never again. It's simply unacceptable for those to come to the Jewish community and shut down a religious service on the Sabbath targeting Jews for no reason at all, and then blaming them for burning down a burger shop. That is un-Australian. It is simply un-Australian to go and target Jewish businesses because they're owned by Jews. That is un-Australian. It is simply unacceptable to go to university campuses, lock yourself in buildings, harass and intimidate Jews, and that is un-Australian. It's simply unacceptable that each and every week you take over our city, you take over your streets, you spew anti-Semitism and hate to everybody. You incite fear so the Jewish community can't come anywhere. And that is un-Australian. And I say enough is enough. Everybody has a right of opinion and free speech, and we value that and we celebrate that. Discussion is good. We celebrate all life and human life. We respect that. But we never ever want to see a repeat of the Holocaust. The Jewish community have lived in fear for far too long, and that must stop today. And I say today is the day we draw the line in the sand. We say enough is enough. Stop the hate, mate. Never again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David Southwick, for your leadership and steadfast advocacy and support for this community. As he said, this is an amazing country, and we're going to stand together. And unlike some around us, we love this country. We are proud to be Australians. Many of us have come here as migrants. Some have come as refugees, or our parents came as refugees. So would you join the band in singing Advance Australia Fair?
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nations' gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
We believe that music is a powerful gift from God to unite us across ethnicities, cultures, and religions. And so today we are singing together. We invite you. You may know some of the words, you may not. We're going to sing a couple of songs that are popular in the Christian church, and then we're going to sing some songs that those of you who are from a Jewish and Israeli background will know. So if you don't know the words, if you don't know the tune, just enjoy this wonderful band coming to us, who are going to serve us this afternoon as we sing of the goodness of God.
All my days I've been held in the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
Thank you. That is beautiful music. It now gives me very great pleasure to introduce to you a man who has become a friend, a man who has stood steadfastly with the people, with the Jewish people, and with the state of Israel. Let me introduce you to Indigenous businessman and activist Warren Mundine.
Wow, look at the crowd. This is amazing. There is a God. He stopped the rain just at the right time. Today is a very special day to me. It is the 17th anniversary of my father's passing. I have a photo of him as a baby. The only photo we have around the First World War. And I look at that photo and I think about if he was born just before the 17th of October, the 7th of October, I should say, 2023. If he was one of those children who suffered that day. I have other photos of him as a young man at 18. There would be no Roy Mundine at 18. There would be no Roy Mundine meeting Dolly Donovan and getting married and having 11 children. Those 11 children producing something like 36 grandchildren and great-grandchildren. They would not exist today. I look at the photos of those children who were victims of the 7th of October and the ones who were taken away as hostages. And I also look at the Palestinians, the Arab children who have been held as human shields by Hamas. And I think that they will not have to be adults and they will never have those chances. And this is why I'm here today, because of the love that we want. We want peace in the Middle East. We want people to come together. We want people to live freely like we do in Australia. We have seen all this trauma before in the 1930s when the world sat back and watched Nazi Germany slowly, bit by bit, destroy the human rights and citizenship rights, the freedoms and liberties of their fellow humans. The disabled, the Jews, the Roma and many others were seen as unfit humans, not even human. They come one by one till finally they set up the death camps. The problem wasn't the Nazis. There's always going to be Nazis. The problem was the people who sat back and did nothing. Over the past 50 years, post-Second World War, we have built a magnificent, multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-faith society. And it is now, and it has, where people are all treated equal and have the opportunities to build a better life for themselves and their children, escaping the horrors of the wars, discrimination, and being treated as second-class citizens. I'd like to finish up by saying, I'm proud of you for having chosen Australia as your destination. We welcome you. We love you for the contributions that you have given to this nation. Cultural spirit, cultural spiritual life, economic prosperity, the list is endless. We will not let the savagery and the barbarians of the 7th of October to destroy our nation. We will show love, we will come together, and we will be, even to our friends down the road here, we will then show them love, and we will bring this nation together. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren Mundine, who flew down this morning just to be here and to say that as a Jewish community, you are not alone. You are not alone. I want to say that as a Christian pastor, that the Christian church has a terrible history of anti-Semitism, of hating the Jews, persecuting the Jews, and we are deeply ashamed of that. And I want to say to you, to the extent that it is in my power, we will make sure that that will not happen in Australia ever. If they want to come for the Jew, they have to come through the Christian first. We are with you. You are not alone. Let me introduce to you now a great friend of the Jewish community, an Australian politician who's been a senator for Victoria since 2016, Senator James Paterson.
Mark, thank you so much, and thank you to all of you who are here today. Today's rally is not about conflict. Today's rally is not about the Middle East. It is a rally about Australia. It's a rally about who we are as a nation. All racism is wrong. All racism is evil. But anti-Semitism is the oldest and deepest sickness of humanity. It rears its ugly head at least once every generation. For us, that time is now. Our Jewish brothers and sisters tell us that they have never felt less safe here in Australia, that levels of anti-Semitism are off the charts. But the Jewish community can't fight this alone. They need people of moral courage and moral clarity to stand with them. They need non-Jews, like me and many of you, to stand with them and support them. We must stand against anti-Semitism, not just because it is morally repugnant. We must stand against it because history shows us that rampant anti-Semitism is a leading indicator of an unhealthy society. Because while it might start with the Jews, it never ends with the Jews. I can't speak at this rally today without addressing the elephant in the room. Just over there are people counter-protesting this rally. Counter-protesting a rally against anti-Semitism. And the materials they used to promote their protest is frightening. Blood-stained writing. A jackboot stomping on the Star of David. For the last 6 months, they've had this city to themselves. But on the one weekend that the Jewish community and their friends show up, they are here to try and intimidate us. But this city belongs to all of us. We are not afraid. We will not be bullied. And the good news is they are an isolated fringe. They don't speak for Australia. In fact, just this week, the Senate voted on an overwhelming bipartisan basis to condemn their hateful rhetoric and slogans. The vast majority of Australians reject these extremists. Everyone here today stands proudly with the Jewish community and against their hate. and we will stand with you for as long as it takes to defeat it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James Patterson. We're going to sing again a song that declares that God is great. It's a song full of love and adoration. Now, I know some of us since October 7, and those of us like myself who's the child of a Holocaust survivor, I know some of us struggle to believe in God. We struggle to believe in the God of the Scriptures, a God who is loving and who is powerful. And if you're struggling at the moment, let us sing a blessing. May this song be sung vicariously for you. We stand with faith and we declare that God is great and good. So let us sing.
אותך ראוי להלל
now it gives me a very great pleasure to introduce to you another wonderful friend of the Jewish people, a woman who serves as the Shadow Minister for Education. Please welcome Senator Sarah Henderson.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to stand on these steps at the seat of democracy in Victoria and say never again. Never again is now. The anti-Semitic hate and incitement and harassment and intimidation and discrimination must stop. Thank you to Mark for bringing us together to unite us, not to divide as is happening up the road there. On behalf of the coalition, led by Peter Dutton and including my good friend Senator James Paterson, from whom you've just heard, we say our country deserves better. All Australians have a right to be safe in our own country. That includes Jewish Australians in your businesses, your synagogues, in the community, in the street and online, when you walk to school or study at university. Just as we celebrate and respect Australians of all faiths, race or heritage, we honour Jewish Australians. The Star of David shines brightly in this country. As Shadow Minister for Education, I join with you in condemning the alarming rise in anti-Semitism in our schools and universities. The school strikes, the posters and chants and slogans of anti-Semitic hate and incitement, the activism and indoctrination in our classrooms, the encouragement of young children to chant terrorist slogans, the endorsement of the horrific actions of Hamas by teachers and students, the classroom invasions, where those who don't support the activist cause are photographed like it was the 1930s, the protests, the occupation of buildings which breach university rules against intimidation and harassment, the failure to take disciplinary and police action against those responsible, the camps of hate which fuel anti-Semitism and embolden radical activists. Everyone has a right to be safe on a university campus. Yesterday, we saw terrible scenes of violence and incitement at the ALP State Conference. Police were called and the protesters were forced to leave. I say this to the Premier and the Prime Minister: we need to see the same response at our universities. In the face of the unlawful occupation of buildings, trespass, violence, hate and incitement which has shut down classes and at Melbourne Uni created chaos along with some other universities, I say bring in the police, restore law and order so students and staff can learn and work in safety. I acknowledge some university leaders are starting to step up and enforce their policies, but there is still a long way to go, compounded by this federal government which has failed the test of leadership in adopting a zero-tolerance approach to anti-Semitism at universities. And I say to the Minister for Education, Jason Clare, anti-Semitic slogans and chants do not mean different things to different people. Our leaders in government and at universities must have the moral courage to say never again is now, not speak out of both sides of their mouth. I'm inspired by Ben Sasse, the president of the University of Florida, who said, "We will always defend your rights to free speech and free assembly, but if you cross the line on clearly prohibited activities, you will be thrown off campus and suspended. That means a 3-year prohibition from campus." That's serious. We said it, we mean it, we enforced it. We wish we didn't have to, but the students weighed the costs, made their decisions and they will own the consequences as adults. We're a university, not a daycare. We don't coddle with emotions. We wrestle with ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, words mean nothing without action. Universities must take disciplinary and police action against every single person who breaches university policies or the law without exception. Every university, and some are now doing it, but every university must end the encampments, the camps of hate, and regulate the time and place of protests. Appeasing the mob only emboldens the anti-Semites. Stop the hate. Never again is now. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very, very much, Sarah Henderson. Isn't it wonderful to hear from political leaders with such moral clarity and such common sense? It's not rocket science, Jason Clare. All right, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the Honourable Phil Dalidakis, who comes to bring us greetings and words of support from the Greek community. Thank you very much, Phil, for coming here to be with us.
As Winston Churchill once said, no two communities have given more to the world than the Greeks and the Jews, and I happen to have both. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the land of which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Can I also, on this day, pay my respects and acknowledge the work of Pastor Mark Leach and his team at the Never Again Is Now. Now, I don't have to agree with many of the views for other people that shared the platform today, because the one thing that we all agree on is that anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine for our society. We need to make sure that as both a proud Australian Jew and a member of an Australian community, that whilst I stand before you with a heavy heart and a fierce determination to address this deeply troubling issue, that we're here to confront again the rise of anti-Semitism here in Australia right now. This ancient hatred, which has led to untold suffering throughout history, is re-emerging in our communities, and it is our duty, each and every one of us, to confront it with all the passion and the urgency that it demands. Anti-Semitism is not a relic of the past. It is a persistent and insidious force that manifests itself in various forms. And it is a cancer on our society, and it is the words of David Balliol poignantly observes in his book, Jews Don't Count. And he says, quote, "Jews are seen as both powerful and invisible. This is a contradiction that has historically been at the heart of anti-Semitism. It allows hatred to flourish because it provides a justification. If Jews are powerful, they're fair game. If they're invisible, then the attacks on them should go unnoticed." But this dual perception is not just an academic observation, it is a lived reality for the Jewish people here today, fostering an environment when we are all feeling like we are targeted and marginalised. In Australia, this has become alarmingly evident. Recent statistics show and reveal a sharp increase in anti-Semitic incidents, including vandalism, hate speech, and even physical assaults. These acts of hatred are not mere numbers. They are attacks on our friends, our family, our neighbours, and our fellow Australians. They threaten the safety and well-being of Jewish Australians, and they tear at the very fabric of our society, a society that prides itself on equality, tolerance, and respect. One of the most pernicious ways anti-Semitism is being cloaked in our time is through the weaponization of the term Zionism. Zionism at its heart is simply the affirmation that the Jewish people's right to self-determination and the existence of the State of Israel. It is the belief that Jews, like any other people, deserve a homeland where they can live in safety and freedom. However, anti-Semites have twisted this term to use it as a smokescreen to legitimise their bigotry. They claim I'm not anti-Jew, just anti-Zionist, as if opposing the right of Israel to exist is somehow separate from hostility towards Jews. This disingenuous argument falls apart under closer scrutiny. Denying Jews the right to a homeland while not questioning the existence of any other nation is inherently anti-Semitic. It singles out the Jewish state for unique condemnation and delegitimisation, revealing a deep-seated bias. Let us be very clear. Criticism of Israel, like criticism of any country, is valid and necessary in a democratic society. However, when such criticism crosses the line into denying Israel's right to exist or holding it to an impossible standard not applied to other nations, it becomes a mask for anti-Semitism. And this distinction is critical. Genuine debate about policies and actions is not what we contest. It is the underlying prejudice that denies a fundamental right to the Jewish people. We cannot and we must not remain silent in the face of this injustice. We must raise our voices loud and unwavering to call out anti-Semitism in any and all of its forms. We must recognise and challenge the falsehoods that seek to mask hatred with the guise of political critique. By shedding a light on these insidious tactics, we can begin to dismantle the rhetoric that fuels anti-Semitism. In conclusion, the dangers of anti-Semitism in Australia are real and present. As a society, we must stand united against all forms of bigotry. We must ensure that our Jewish communities feel safe, valued and visible. By challenging the misuse of terms like Zionism and recognising the true nature of anti-Semitic rhetoric, we can protect the principles of justice and equality that define our nation. Let us commit to fight this fight with all of the passion and resolve that it requires. Let us ensure that future generations will look back and they will know where each and every one of you and us have stood on the right side of history, and to say to our Jewish brothers and sisters that we upheld the values of humanity and justice, not at the exclusion of one, but the inclusion of all. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Phil Dalidakis. It is important to recognise this is not a partisan issue. And it is wonderful that we have representatives from the left and a lot from the centre-right of politics here. This is an issue for all Australians to confront and combat. So thank you, Phil Dalidakis. Now, it gives me very great pleasure to introduce an old friend of mine, the Reverend Pastor Dr. His Highness Dale Stevenson. Dale is the senior pastor at the largest Baptist church in Australia. And I asked Dale to come and speak to us because you need to know that there are many, the vast majority of Christians in this country stand with the Jewish people and stand with the right of Israel to exist. And so Dale, thank you very much. Thank you for giving up your Sunday afternoon to come and speak to us.
Thank you so much, Mark. My Saviour, Jesus, is Jewish. My sacred texts that I read were largely written by Jewish people. I live in a society that celebrates its Judeo-Christian heritage, and I'm so grateful to God for it. There is no place in a healthy Australian society for anti-Semitism. The cancer in our society is generated by the haters, by those who would want to speak against our societal values with regards to the value of all human life. And whether that hatred is generated politically, whether it's generated religiously, whether it's generated ideologically, it is still evil. To hate upon other people because of their birth is immoral. It is wrong. It's the antithesis of a healthy society. I want to say to the Jewish community, we stand with you. You are our friends, you are our neighbours, you are our working colleagues. I say to the Jewish community, you have been leaders of industry, of academics, of science, of medicine, and of the arts, and we celebrate you and we stand with you on this day. I just want to acknowledge what Mark said earlier, and I add my voice to it. To any Jewish person who has been hurt by a Christian voice historically or even in a contemporary way, and for the value it adds, I extend my sincerest apology to you. It's the antithesis of the Christian faith to spread hate. My Saviour Jesus was once asked, what's the most important thing? And he said it is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. And then he said this, the second is like it, you shall love your neighbour as yourself. Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Indeed, he even said, love your enemies and pray for them. I therefore want to, if my voice is extending to counter rallies or to those who carry hatred in their heart, I say to you, I pray for you. I want you to know that you also are loved. And for what it's worth, from my own perspective as a Christian, I forgive you for your hatred and for your ignorance. Can you even imagine a society where it was you who was being called out? Can you imagine a society where mobs were chanting for your death? Can you imagine a society where your children felt threatened going to school in their school uniform, or where your neighbours were concerned in simply going to work? So I say to the Jewish community, we see you, we know you, we love you, and we stand with you. Therefore, I chose today to add my face and my voice and that small piece of influence that I carry to say that your safety and security are inextricably linked to my safety and security, and to the safety and security of the Australian society. Hina matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good and how pleasant it is when brothers, and can I say, and sisters, stand together in unity. God bless each and every one of you.
Yeah. The band is going to lead us. We're going to sing a song that Pastor Dale has introduced for us. Hina Matov.
Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matzov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matzov la 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 la. Hine mato, hine mato, la 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 la. Behold how good, behold how good and how pleasant it is when brethren dwell together. Behold, behold how good and how pleasant it is when brethren dwell together in unity. La 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 la. In unity, in unity. La 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 la. La 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 la. Yo, Inemato Kumanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Inemato Kumanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Inemato, Inemato, la 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 la. Inemato, Inemato, la 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 la. Let's hear her on the fiddle now, come on. Inemato, 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 la 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 la. Inemato, Inemato, la 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 la. La 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 la.
All right, well, as we change musicians over, I just want to say what a wonderful event this is. And it's incredible. You don't get to see it, and you will when we put the video together and repost it. But there is so much love in this space. Thank you all. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to our humble stage Deborah Conway and her husband Willie. She needs no introduction, particularly for those of us who were listening to music in the 80s and who followed her career. And before she starts, I want to say this. Deborah, we stand with you as an artist who is performing your art and getting abused and vilified because of your religion and your ethnicity. And as Christians, we want to say we are with you in the performance and pursuit of your art. Now listen, that's all good, yeah. What I hear her whispering in my ear is, show me the money. So translate that into action. Let me tell you, I've just read her book, her memoirs, her autobiography. It is a fantastic read. And let me encourage you to go to all good bookstores, go to Amazon, go on Audible. I listened to it on double speed. And her music that's embedded in the ebook there sounded particularly good at double speed. But go and buy it, support her. One of the things we are working on in the Christian community is to say that when Jewish businesses and artists are boycotted by people who are full of hate, we will bring our purchasing power to support you, because in this country we do not discriminate and target businesses because of the ethnicity or religious identity of the owners or the artists. That belongs in Germany in 1930, and we know how that story ended, and we're not having it here. Deborah Conway, over to you.
Shalom, everybody. From the north of the city to the south of the city to the east to the west, shalom, shalom. I have a few words to say, and then we're going to play a couple of songs. I'm really glad the rain has stopped. Thank you, Hashem. The definition of a Zionist is someone who supports the existence of a Jewish nation and the right of Jews to be sovereign within it. The vast majority of Australia's Jewish community supports the right of Israel to exist. Therefore, the vast majority of Australia's Jewish community are Zionists. Being a Zionist is not exclusive to Jews. Many people around the world count themselves as supporters of Israel's right to exist. They are all Zionists. I imagine most of you here have turned up because you too are Zionists. Thank you. We are always grateful for allies. Ultimately, we all know this is a fight between reason and extremism. I imagine most of you have turned up because, no, that's not right, sorry. Some in our broader Australian community and others across particular thought enclaves around the world have viciously twisted the word Zionist, have co-opted and redefined the word to conjure Nazi, fascist, someone who supports genocide, someone complicit in apartheid and ethnic cleansing, someone who deliberately supports starving or targeting civilians, someone who delights in oppressing and colonising the other. It is a cruel, relentless and deliberate campaign of lies to delegitimise the only Jewish state in the world. Taken to its logical conclusion, it is in fact genocidal. It is, at the very least, a call to arms for a state of perpetual war against Jew and, in consequence, against Arab too. If you have been persuaded that Jews, Israelis, Zionists fit any of the above descriptors, then sure, by any means necessary, Jews, Israelis, Zionists should be eradicated. That's what the Nazis thought too. I'd like to think, to hope, that from our lofty position in history of having noted the cataclysm of the Holocaust, we might check ourselves, check the facts. It's always more complex than the headlines. It is not only hope, of course, because we have Israel. Am Israel Chai.
Give a voice to all the mournful souls who search to be reborn tonight. Forgiveness like the sharpest knife, oh God, inscribe me in the book of life. I've been hungry since before the dawn. Everybody's empty, but it's not for food. And everybody's praying here to be rescued. Examining our sins, it's hard not to conclude we're screwed. The world's in flames, these maddened days of black and white. No shades of grey to keep at bay the darkest night. There's never been a song that could save a life. Blow the horn, give a voice to all the mournful souls who search to be reborn tonight. Forgiveness like the sharpest knife, oh God, inscribe me in the book of life. I've been hungry since before the dawn.
full of uncried tears I still can't shed. Stored up with the unsaid things we never said. Well, you wanted forgiveness, but I wasn't ready yet. Now you're dead. To all the souls who lost themselves, I sing for you. Apart from that, there's nothing more that I can do. Though I know it's useless, kinda helps me through. Blow the horn, give a voice to all the mournful souls who search to be reborn tonight. Forgiveness like the sharpest knife, for God inscribed me in the book of life. I've been hungry since before the dawn. I wanna see my children out in the world, grown into women from little girls. Why wouldn't you want that too? Oh, the older you get, the more friends you lose. Next year I won't disappear in fire or flood. And next year I'll still be here to do some good. Well, I won't be taking my pills or thrills or wine. I should be doing fine. Blow the horn, give a voice to all the mournful souls who search to be reborn tonight. Forgiveness like the sharpest knife, oh God, inscribe me in the book of life. I've been hungry since before the dawn. I've been hungry since before the dawn. If we pray, if we sacrifice, if we're patient, if we light the lights, if we work hard, if we fit in, even if we lie down on protest, if we walk the wire, and if we fall, we'll fall to what's below. Take my hand so we don't stray at all. Let's walk the wire. If you steal at home, if you burn us down, if you slander our name, if you claim the higher ground, if there's no war we can win, and nor can afford to lose, even if we plead your refuse, we walk the wire, and if we fall, we'll fall to what's below. Take my hand so we don't stray at all. Let's walk the wire. If we fight, if we're to if they kill, if they're murderers, if it never stops, if all your hate persists, we'll do what we've always done, and we walk the way. And if we fall, we'll fall towards below. Take my hand so we don't stray at all. Let's walk the way. If we pray, if we sacrifice, if we're patient, if we light the lights, if we work hard, if we fit in, even if we lie down on protest, and we walk the way, and if we fall, we'll fall towards below. Take my hand so we don't stray at all, so we don't stray at all, so we don't stray at all. Let's walk the way. Thank you, everybody. Really wonderful that you all came out today. It's such a beautiful step in the right direction. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that. It's wonderful. And don't worry, we have a special treat coming. The Am Yisrael Chai is coming, and we're going to end with that. It's going to be a party just singing that Israel lives, which is going to be wonderful. Right now, let me introduce to you another Christian leader from the state of Victoria, the state director of the Australian Christian Lobby, who have the ACL since October 7 has been absolutely steadfast in trying to mobilize the Christian community to stand with Israel, to stand against anti-Semitism, and to stand with the Jewish community of Australia. So please welcome Jasmine Ewan, state director of the Australian Christian Lobby. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for starting this movement. Isn't it great to be here today? To our Jewish friends here today who braved the rain and those across Victoria, it's a privilege to be here today to stand together with you and support you. I have to say I feel your pain and anguish, fear and confusion since October 7. And I know it is unthinkable to see the hatred towards the Jewish people spill over into our nation since October 7. Victoria is held to be the most multicultural and inclusive state of our nation. Yet, we see the worst and the ugliest anti-Semitism in our nation and in our state. You just can look over there and yesterday. Anti-Semitism is racism. If we can't tolerate racism, then we should not tolerate anti-Semitism. Because no one race, no one religion, nor the Jews, nor anyone should be the target of hate in our nation. Christians follow the Jewish Rabbi Jesus, and this is what he said: a house divided against itself will not stand. Anti-Semitism is dividing our country and tearing us apart. It is of great urgency that for us as Australians, regardless of religion, regardless of race and background, to push back against anti-Semitism and hatred. Together today, we want to call on our Prime Minister and our Premier Jacinta Allen to do more to end this hate mania. And we want them to do more to restore peace, unity, and harmony in our society. And to our Jewish friend, I want to tell you this. The Christian community loves you and cares about you. Jesus called the Christians to love our neighbors as ourselves. But to our Jewish friends, you are more than neighbors for us. Because we share the same root. We worship the same Creator God. And we share the foundation laid out by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And half of our Christian Bibles come from the Jewish faith. So allow us to call you brothers and sisters from today's onwards. Because there are no more important time than now for Christians and Jews to stand together in support of each other. And I want to read you this scripture from Isaiah. God said to Israel, "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has born? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands." The God of Israel, the maker of heaven and earth, will never leave you nor forsake you. You might feel being rejected, abandoned, discriminated against, and confused. But God is with you and He is on your side. God is watching you and protecting you. As for us Christians, we will stand with you and journey with you, pray for you and support you until the very end. And remember that you are not alone in this. May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Thank you very much, Jasmine, speaking for the Christian community of Victoria. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Rakesh Razaida, Director and Public Officer of the Vedic community, here to bring greetings and words of support from the Indian community of Victoria.
A big namaste to all. I'm here to say never again now. And thank Mark, you all who are braving the rain, and my community who have come to support you. We have too much in common. We are fighting for our existence. Like you, Bharat, that is India, is also surrounded by such people. We have to fight terrorism day in, day out. So I will not take much of your word and will request entire community, multicultural community, to be united to support you in your good cause. Violence against humanity is a crime and we hate that. We don't support that. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you so much. You get the message, you're not alone, we're in this. Now it gives me great pleasure, thank you very much, Rakesh, to introduce you to call up onto the truck Alice Young, who is an Indigenous dancer, a descendant of William Cooper, and part of the Yorta Yorta people, who is going to come and share with you a few words and then a dance to express her unity with the people of Israel.
Thank you, Mark. It's wonderful to be here standing in unity with you all, with all my brothers and sisters. So it's been wonderful the day so far. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge we are gathering today on the lands of the Wairarong Wurundjeri people, and I pay my respect to their elders, past and present. I have been humbled as I've reflected on what I'm sharing today, because I've been reminded of the age in which we are living in right now. I'm honoured to share a few words and a dance to the song Nara Bira Fira. which in English is Turn Back Pharaoh's Army. I stand here following the legacy of my ancestor, especially my great-great-grandmother's brother, Uncle William Cooper. In 1938, he compassionately led a march to the German consulate in Melbourne to protest against the mistreatment of the Jewish community during Kristallnacht. He stood against anti-Semitism, as I do today. Seeking understanding, I looked up anti-Semitism and sought the Lord's guidance for today's gathering. The Lord gave me the word dispensation, which means the divine ordering of the world. In the Bible, there are 7 dispensations. They are innocence, conscience, human government, promise, law, grace, and the millennial kingdom. We are in the dispensation of grace, where we are called to love one another as Jesus loved us. The song I'm dancing to, Nara Bira Fera, was translated into Yorta Yorta by my Auntie Teresa Clements and my great-great-grandfather Thomas Shadrach James. The song was sung by the Fish Jubilee Singers who visited Maloga Mission in 1885. The song, inspired by Exodus 15, symbolises freedom from oppression. Miriam celebrated Israel's liberation from Egypt with a dance, and I dance today in hope, through grace and truth, to see the liberation from all oppression for the Jewish community, for my people, and for all oppressed in Australia and beyond. May the God of Shalom be with you all. Thank you. Sorry, can I ask you to join me in the dance? So can I ask you to start swaying side to side? Because you're representing the water in this song that symbolises freedom. When I hit the tambourine, can you please clap your hands to show that you want to see the end of hate in this country? And at the end, when I raise my arms in the air, can you please raise your arms in the air with me to show that we stand together for love? Thank you.
Wamraka Moses yen yen wala yepuni forge narabura fera yumanayala narabura fera yumanayala yala narabura fera yumanayala yala Pura fera yumna, pura fera yumna, pura fera yumna yala yala. Yendo peko Jesu, bravo bukana yumna, naura pura fera yumna yala. Naura pura fera yumna yala yala. Naura pura fera yumna yala yala. Naura pura fera yumna, pura fera yumna, pura fera yumna yala yala. Naura pura fera yumna yala yala. Naura pura fera yumna yala yala. Naura pura fera yumna, pura fera yumna, pura fera yumna yala
That was just wonderful. God has been weaving together a people on this continent for millennia, and we can now stand together as one from all the corners of the globe, meeting here to push back hate. Thank you so very much, Alice. Let me introduce to you now Humayun Nadirifar, an Iranian article writer, political analyst, and political activist. So many of the people of Iran stand against the regime and stand with Israel. Thank you so very much.
Shalom, everyone. And from Iran, Durud. We are glad to be here as Iranian Australians to convey a message of solidarity and empathy with the people of Israel and Jewish community. We stand here because, like you, we have tasted the bitter fruit of terrorism and witnessed its continuation in our homeland, Iran. In 1979, during the Islamic Revolution in Iran, the sniper sent by Yasser Arafat tore through the heart of my uncle, an officer in the Monarch Army, and many other peoples in the streets on capital city in Tehran. For 46 years, we Iranians have been prisoners of a regime that is the leader of all terrorists worldwide, witnessing its bloody footprint in various atrocities and massacres around the globe. The tragedy of October 7 was a turning point in history to reveal the nature and origin of terrorism, a threat to human civilization and global peace to many around the world. We are here. We are here to say that the people of Iran and Israel share a common pain, understanding each other's pain more than any other nationality. It's worth mention the warm hospitality of the Israel government and people towards the Shah in exile, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, who was your guest a year ago on your country. We believe that with the overthrow of the Islamic Republic regime in Iran, the return of our King Reza Shah II, and the establishment of the Cyrus covenant between Iran and Israel, as emphasized by him, peace, stability, and security will return to the Middle East and even the world. With the hope for the return of all your hostages from the hands of terrorists such as Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and others, and with the wish for the salvation of the people of Iran from the grip of the dictatorial and terrorist nurturing regime of the Islamic Republic. Let's never forget that together. Let's never forget that together we are powerful. Undoubtedly, light will prevail over darkness. Long live Israel, long live Iran.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. We wait in eager anticipation for the day when the head of the snake is cut off in the Middle East and peace can reign. And we call on the Australian government and all Western democracies to legislate the IRGC as a terrorist organization and treat them as such, because that is what they are. I was just looking at my run sheet going, I have no idea where we're up to, but I know where we're up to. We're up to one of my favorite people, one of my newest friends, and a great community leader, the president of the Rabbinic Council of Victoria, Moshe Khan. Thank you, Moshe.
My dear friends, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Jewish community, not just in Melbourne, not just in Victoria, not just in Australia, but worldwide, to say thank you to the decent, upstanding, incredible Australians that are standing with us here today. I want to thank my very, very dear friend, Reverend Mark. You are a dear, incredible human being. You're an inspiration to all of us what it means to be decent. You're an incredible inspiration to every one of us what it means to never be silent when other people are intimidating your brothers and your sisters. Thank you. I want to thank the Victoria Police who have come here to keep Victoria safe. Thank you for your service. I want to thank every politician that has chosen to make it a priority to be here today, to show your solidarity, to show your voice, to saying never again is now. Thank you. But above all, I want to say thank you to every single one of you that are standing here. Melbourne is renowned for its weather, and today Melbourne, you have shown us your true weather. You have shown us that even though sometimes it rains, we choose to dance no matter what. I want to give a message of love to every Australian, but I also want to give a message to my brothers and sisters who perhaps over the last couple of months have felt somewhat timid, have felt somehow scared, intimidated, and perhaps lost the courage to walk through the streets of our great country and of our great cities, and specifically the city of Melbourne. That today I stand here deliberately wearing a hat, not accidental. I stand here today deliberately got my tzitzit. We stand tall, we stand strong, we stand proud. I beg of you, I ask every single one of you, wear your Jewish symbols with pride. Walk down the street with your Magen David. Walk down the streets with your kippah. Don't ever be shy or timid or scared of your incredible, rich and beautiful history. Know that you are born into an incredible family. Am Yisrael Chai. I was asked to conclude to offer a prayer, and as a Kohen, a Jewish priest, I want to conclude by offering the prayer that we sang in the temple, and please God, we'll be singing again very shortly again, united in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, our capital city. If you know this, please join in with me. Close your eyes, and I dedicate this prayer to our brothers and sisters all around the world, but specifically to our brothers and sisters who are being held in captivity. We ask God to look after them, to bring them home safe. We ask God to look after our holy soldiers, defending our country, defending Israel, to look after them, protect them. And I close my eyes and offer this prayer in Hebrew, and I'll translate it in English. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'eh Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. We ask God to bless us, to show his countenance, but above all, to bring his peace, true peace, everlasting peace on the whole entire globe. And let us say, Amen. Thank you so much. Am Yisrael Chaim.
Well, now let me introduce on behalf of the JCCV, the Deputy President, Hayley Southwick. Thank you, Hayley.
Hi everyone, and can I just say to you what an incredibly beautiful sight I am seeing right now. We stand here today to say no to hate speech. I'm standing here today to say no to racism, and I'm standing here today to say no to division. Anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish hate is not a Jewish problem. It is a Victorian problem. It is a human problem. So many of us, Jewish and non-Jewish, have chosen Victoria to be our home because it has been a safe haven. I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors who survived Auschwitz, and they came to Victoria after the war for a peaceful life, to be able to live in a peaceful, tolerant and multicultural society where they could be proud Jews. Now look what's happening. It absolutely breaks my heart. This has always been a community that finds a place for us all, no matter the language we speak, no matter the food we eat, no matter the place we worship. I also acknowledge the First Nations communities who are the custodians of this place we have come to know as home. But our safe haven of Victoria cannot be taken for granted. It is fragile and we must protect it. Thank you so much for coming here today to say no to anti-Semitism. It means so much to the Jewish community who I am here representing today. It means so much to us that so many of our allies and friends have come into the city on a Sunday to stand with us. We know that you, your families, your communities are just as have as much disgust at the growing level of hate speech as we do. You have our backs, and it is an amazing feeling to know that. But I want you to know something. I hope that you and your communities never experience what the Jewish community is experiencing today. But if you ever do, I want you to know that the Jewish community has your backs. Because as together we are so much stronger. To the organisers of today's rally, to Mark Leach and your team, and your Never Again Is Now team, thank you so much for putting today together, and thank you to all the incredible speakers who had the courage to come up and stand up for good. But most of all, thank you to all of you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Hayley Southwick. Now, we're going to sing a couple of songs, and before we do that, let me add my thanks. I want to thank everybody on the Never Again Is Now team. We have so many volunteers who've worked so tirelessly. Our team is made up both of Christians and of people from the Jewish community here who've served us so very, very well. So thank you all, you wonderful volunteers. Thanks for pulling this together. Thank you for everybody who's made this possible. Simon Joseph for the donation of all these umbrellas, which we've only needed for like 50% of the time, which is great. Thank you for all the speakers for coming out. There are many significant people, politicians and so on in the crowd. And if you're here and you deserve recognition and I haven't recognized you, I'm sorry, I can't make out who's who from up here. But thank you all. Now, we're going to sing And I want to thank our band. The musicians have been amazing. Thank you, band. We're going to sing Am Yisrael Chai. It is a modern day miracle that the state of Israel exists after 2,000 years being dispersed in the diaspora across the world. We came back to the land of our ancestors, the land of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the promised land that God has covenanted to his people. And now we sing together, Am Yisrael Chai.
בקרוב יזרח השמש, ודי ימים יפים באלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. מחכה להם למטה, כולם זקסו הביתה, מחכים להם בדרות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו שקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד בו לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. Come on, you sing it, עם ישראל. עם ישראל חי, לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בריות גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יגדול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא עבדה האמונה. וואו, וואו, עם ישראל, let me say whoa, come on. וואו, עם ישראל חי, רצי נחלתנו, לא תיפול כרת אחינו, מסביב ברזל של חרבות.